Welcome to the PatternFly community meeting for May 7th, 2025. I'll share my screen. Okie dokie. So I will be emceeing today, but that's basically it. There's a lot of people here who will be presenting and contributing. They all do fantastic work on the team, so everyone has their time to shine and share the work that they've done. So on the agenda today, there's a quick community update just about some communications and different opportunities. Then we'll go down the list. Historically, we've gone through release highlights, but I think we're going to try and focus a little bit more on what's coming next to highlight the key features that will come on the next release and things moving forward, so that you're a little more informed about what's on the horizon for PatternFly and some of the exciting stuff that we're working on. So we're going to cover animations, high contrast, ChatBot, starting, React 19, and then finally we're going to wrap it up with the roadmap updates. All right, so for the community meeting updates, as we have a number of different communications things going on right now. So you probably got an email very recently with the PatternFly newsletter for Q1, or even an email yesterday about this meeting today. So we're getting more active with the newsletter system that Red Hat has available. So you'll be getting more pings about different opportunities and community events going on. So you'll see that in your inbox with links and awesome information and all kinds of goodies. So stay tuned for that. The PatternFly community meeting, the one you're in right now, is once a quarter. It's usually around the midpoint of every quarterly release that we do. And we'll cover, like I said, the highlights and what's coming next. And all these meetings are published to YouTube. We have currently 279 subscribers. Hopefully we'll have a few more after today. But there's a link to the YouTube channel. So all the recordings from these meetings are posted publicly on YouTube after the fact. And then finally, PatternFly office hours. This is going to be a little bit of a change. We formerly had just development office hours, but we're consolidating our design syncs and our development office hours together in one bi-weekly call. It'll be an hour long instead of the half hour it is today. There is an opportunity to kind of cover a wide range of topics. You can contribute new features. You can do some demos. You can ask for PatternFly feedback. Talk about accessibility, anything you want. There's topics and tags for all this stuff. And one extra call out is that if you are not available to attend the meeting, but you really want to get feedback on something, there is a flag on the new agenda format so that you can request that someone kind of deliver a presentation for you by proxy. I've done that a few times in the past and able to just share the recording and notes that's taken through the meeting. So if you're in a different time zone where that just doesn't work for you, or you have a conflict, whatever the case is, we can certainly bring your topics forward and get feedback for you and then deliver that back to you. So those are the high-level community updates. And now go straight into the fun with animations and Sarah.
Oh, so we've talked about animations before and what's coming in particular, and we did actually get some of them into last release. So what we learned from that is in some systems under a load, we were seeing some jittery navigation on specifically the navigation expand and collapse. So we went back to look at our approach and learned a little bit about how to test animation performance and revisited the designs. And the upshot is that we really need to stick to the highly performant animations, which kind of new, but we had tried some other things. So basically the transforms, translate, scale, opacity. And we had planned like basically everything that expanded and collapsed would sort of slide in. This just proved too costly in performance and also difficult to implement cleanly. So we compromised. So the new design is going to be more of a fade in and just a slight like shift to give the impression of that slide in. And we're able to do that in a more performant way and use just those performant animation features. And then the second thing is that we thought really hard about the CSS features that we could use. There's a lot coming online, some fully supported, some newly baseline with not as much support as we'd want, and some really, really new. We made the decision that for animations, we're going to go ahead and allow the use of some of the features that don't yet have the full support that we normally would have, because these are enhancements to the experience. So in particular, we're going to use some things like transition behavior, allow discrete and some interpolate size, allow keywords and starting style, because they're going to streamline our development. They're going to let us get things out more quickly with more maintainable and more understandable code. It's cleaner and just a better way of doing it. And the drawback is you may not see the animations happen in some platforms. In particular, Firefox is a little bit behind, but it's coming. So it's automatically going to show up when Firefox fully supports those. So that's where animations stand. And you can look forward to a whole bunch of expanding and collapsing coming soon.
Actually, I can do a little, I have another tab open. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. Go to this tab. So this is just the core workspace, just to highlight some of that, what she was just talking about. And it's not going to be perfect just because it's only the core workspace. But I did want to show, if I go to, I'm going to pick this guy right here. And expanded. So if I just toggle that on and off, it does that little moving fade, slidey and yeti kind of stuff. Looks really cool. Obviously the ones below aren't collapsing just because it doesn't know to collapse, but that's here or there. But anyway, that's just one of the examples, and it is the more performant solution that we were going for. All right, back to this tab. Okay. And next, Eric is going to talk about some of the new ones like alerts and notification badge.
Hello. First, I think the great thing about Andrew asking me to present at these meetings is I get to tell a wider audience what day it is. And it's actually, it's many days, but in particular, I want to call it to kind of celebrate people in your lives, or not even in your lives, just people. National Interpreter Appreciation Day, great for internationalization, accessibility. Interpretation is great. And also it is National Skilled Trades Day, which that kind of hits home for me because fun fact, I actually went to a Votech high school where I studied culinary. So it's, yeah, celebrate people in the trades, interpreters, etc. That's out of the way. Let's actually get to animations. So yeah, 6.2 release should have the alerts and notification badge animations. So just to highlight here, animations for the alert component. Right now they're opt-in, so you have to pass a prop, which has animations to the alert group component. You have to use an alert group with alerts inside of it to get the animations. If you just have alerts, the behavior is basically going to be what you're used to now, no animations. And the reason for that is just because we noticed that there was a test failure with how the logic is set up with the animations on our end. So we wanted to make sure that, you know, upgrading to 6.2 didn't break anything for people. Test failures should really only be in a very specific use case. But again, in case, you can test it out and make sure nothing breaks by using those animations. There is a plan to make animations and alerts basically always on in a breaking change release. So we'll remove that prop and animations will just be there. For notification badge, a little different. Notification badge animations have to be triggered via prop, the should notify prop. Technically, you know, similar to an opt-in, but it's worth differentiating because it is a little different in how you would actually use the two. And do we have time for me to steal the screen share from you, Andrew, and just show those animations off real quick?
You have all the time in the world, sir.
Oh, perfect. I'll take the next 40 minutes. No, it should only be 5 minutes. Screen one, share. So let me get rid of all these Google Meet pop-ups. So on PatternFly.org, our examples and demos for alerts have animations enabled via that prop I mentioned, just to show it off and kind of convey animations always on kind of thing. And you can see, so scroll through this code and try to find it. Alert group has animations prop is true. And again, you have to have that alert group container for it to work. And here's showing, success or toast alerts. And hopefully through the screen share, they're showing nicely. You can see they kind of pop and fade, scroll in or jump down from the top. As they come in, and when you remove them, they slide out, and the rest slide up to fill that gap. And if anyone is having any issues seeing the animations on their end, just please let me know. I can slow down the animations to show that off. Yeah, that is alert animations, and it doesn't work for toast. If they were inline, that's also toast. I promise they work for inline though. If I can, yeah, there we go. Found one. So yeah, that's the alert animations. Sleek, cool, very nice. Let me go to that one. And like I said, that's opt-in. You have to pass that prop to enable them. By default, if that prop is not passed in, you'll just get the behavior you're probably used to. Notification badge. Again, this is triggered via the should notify prop. And basically, this should allow whatever use case you might need or want for your product or scenario, whatever. This is kind of just showing off, you have these notification badges. Each time there's a new notification, we want that animation to occur. So that's how this example is set up. It might be a little more subtle. I can slow down the animation for this at least, but as I add a notification, 4, when you go to 5, the animation occurs. When you go to 6, the animation occurs. And basically, that's set up by having the should notify property, as well as, I should probably mention this in the slides, but on animation end property. And all we're doing with on animation end is we're basically setting that notify state back to false, so that when it's updated to true again, that's how we are getting that notification, that animation with each new notification. If you only wanted it to occur on the first or only one notification, you don't even need it on animation end. You just should notify true, and there you go. And let me actually just slow that down real quick, and we can see what that looks like. Well, maybe it doesn't. Oh, that might be a different tab. There we go. Nice slow-mo animations. You can see it actually is working. But yeah, that is animations for notification badge and alert, currently in 6.2.
Ring-a-ding. Thank you very much. You didn't take all 40 minutes, so you want to pad it out with some more?
I probably could, but I'll let everyone else go first. Oh, actually, I will say to TLDR what Sarah was talking about. Could you say, Sarah, that we are expanding our animation catalog while trying to collapse the performance hits? I'll be here all day in meetings, but I'll be here all day.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much. One good call out too is the prefers reduced motion. I know we've mentioned this before, but it's worth repeating that if a user does have their operating system set to prefers reduced motion, these animations will not occur. So anything kind of moving or sliding across the screen will just be a fade instead. It's all meant to just adhere to anyone's personal preferences. And that's all set in the OS. It's nothing extra that we have to do. We just pass an extra media query for that. All right, back to the slides. And up next, Lucia with high contrast.
Yeah. So this is part of a larger PatternFly theming initiative, but the high contrast theme is the first officially PatternFly enabled and supported extended theme post V6. So V6 introduced the whole new design token system that was going to make it easier for theming in the future. And here we go, we're seeing it happen. This is going to be baked into PatternFly and won't require any heavy lifting from our consumers to adopt in product. Just like light and dark theme, this will be extended. And then this is a really strong, active partnership with Ansible. High contrast theme kind of came out of Ansible customer requests, and we're actively collaborating on the designs with the Ansible design team. And they're actually going to take some of our early design concepts and gather some feedback on them at Red Hat Summit in a few weeks. That's exciting. But to recap, some of the design considerations and requirements to support these high contrast modes, theme modes, will be that we are going to meet the WCAG AAA enhanced contrast guidelines. We're also exploring additional border application and styling, and we are going to support both high contrast light and high contrast dark modes as part of this greater high contrast effort. And so we're still in early design phase. We're working through adjusting our tokens to meet those increased enhanced contrast requirements. But on the next slide, give you a little sneak peek of what those are looking like. So you can see that we are enhancing the color token values between light and dark modes, and then also introducing some new border styles to enhance those contrasts on elements that don't have a surrounding border and are low contrast with the background that they sit on. So yeah, you'll hear more from us soon. We're also working on a POC for this to pull the tokens into code, and we are going to be seeking out some more feedback once we have some more complete screens to share out.
Cool. Thank you very much. And thanks, if anyone from Mansfield is here or listening. Thanks a lot for partnering on this and for helping with the collecting the feedback, which is going to be really important to help with the next steps moving forward. All right. Moving right along to ChatBot with Kayla and Rebecca.
All right, so this will be super quick. Kayla and Lucia have concluded their usability study. We're going to have some enhancements coming in a future quarter, and we're really excited about that. In our next release, you can look forward to compact variants for the chatbot and various components within the chatbot, empty and no result states for chat history, external links and sources card, which was a big request from our products, and then also editable messages. If you want to stay on top of updates, you can check out a working group. And then also, if you would like to see any of these upcoming features in action, you can see them at pf-virtual-assistant.surge.sh today, if you would so like to. And that's all I have for you guys.
Do you mind putting a link in the chat?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of active partnership going on, and we're quickly gaining more products than other contributors to PatternFly's chatbot. So this is really exciting. And then in the newsletter, you saw that we received a nice mention in top 6 design guidelines or AI guidelines, which was really cool. I think there's a link to that as well we can share. All right, Dan Lebrecq, going to talk about some new charts.
Yeah, so a couple new charts. This is a Sankey chart and a line chart. We already had a line chart, but we didn't have a Sankey chart. This kind of came from cost management. They were looking for another way to represent their costs. And Victory, with the current chart library is based on right now, doesn't support a Sankey chart. So we're introducing a new to PatternFly chart library called Apache eCharts. And I'll just grab the screen share if I could. Right, so if you can see this, this is the Sankey chart. Basically, just like all the other victory-based charts, they're themed. There's a basic theme right here. There's multicolor. There's unordered, ordered. This happens to be a teal theme. This is a custom theme with where I can define my own colors. And it's a skeleton theme, which is useful when you're loading a page or when you have when you don't have information to show. This is something you can use. Still need to populate with some fake data, but it's available. And we have these skeletons for all the victory-based charts as well. One thing I wanted to show was the animation. So when you highlight, when you move your cursor over the bar of the Sankey, it highlights and blurs out the rest of the chart. And you get a nice little tooltip. This is a custom tooltip that I created, but you can also create your own. It's fairly easy to do that. It also has some drag and drop capabilities. So if I, want to see something, want to move things around and make it easier to see, I can really kind of move things around if I want. So this is kind of make it my own thing. eCharts also has a capability of adding like this little toolbar on the side here. So it's a couple of controls. So if I want to save this image, click on that. And basically I get an image. It's a SVG, so it's pretty easy to generate an image from that. And this other one right here, this is a restore, reset. There's some other toolbar options, but I'm showing the more useful ones here. So that's the Sankey chart. And just kind of quickly show you what that kind of looks like in cost management. So here we have overhead costs and some project costs. And we were showing this in two different charts, two different pie charts, which is pretty confusing to users. We have cost models, and some cost models, you can have a markup of minus 24%, and want to see how all that sums up to a total on the right over here. So again, you can move things around the way you want, make it easier to see. And the other chart that I have to demo is the line chart. So you can see there's two tabs here, one for the victory-based charts and one for eCharts. So we do have a line chart already, but to really nail down the theme properties and whatnot, we created another chart in charts. And the idea is to build this out. We'll add area charts and bars and pies later on, but here's the eChart version of it. And there's some subtle differences. Like if you hover over the line, you see that the line highlights and the others are blurred out, which is something we didn't have before. And if you move your cursor over the legend, we do have an interactive legend. You can hide things like this. We do have an interactive legend for the victory-based charts, but it's something you need to add. We have utilities, utility functions that allow you to create events and add that to the charts. But with eCharts, it's already built in. So that's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about adding that kind of functionality. So in a nutshell, that's the main differences between the two chart packages. You get some slightly different symbols with eCharts, but you can also customize your own. I'm just basically showing a small subset of symbols that we have available today. But like I said, you can create your own. We don't have like a empty circle for victory, so that's an additional symbol that you could use. And yeah, just wanted to show you like charts that might be useful. So this is eCharts example page, and you can see there's hundreds of examples. It's overwhelming how many examples they have here, but Now, the things that jump out at me, maybe we'd want to include a new heat map. Heat map is something people have asked for before. There's a lot of things in here that we probably have never used, but like I say, heat map is probably useful. There's just a lot of impressive examples. Victory has a lot of examples too, but this really has some really nice features that you might want to take advantage of in the future. So yeah, that's basically all I had to show.
Thank you very much. Do you mind putting a link to eCharts in the chat while you got it up? For anyone who's interested, personally, I came from product before this and working in OpenShift in different places, and it was really seeing all these new chart possibilities is really exciting. Data visualization is, yes, it's super exciting to me, but having these options in more robust tool set would be really cool, and being able to now leverage this additional charting library is a big win. I think I'm really excited to see where that goes. So thanks a lot, Dan, for you did a lot of work early on just to like audit the system and see if we can even take advantage of it. And now it's actually here and you're able to pull in some. So that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I will just add that Victory makes it super easy with composable components to customize charts. It is a little more difficult to do that in eCharts. But if you see a chart there that you're interested in, that's something we can support. If it's there, we can theme it. It just might be a little harder to create something like the bullet chart or the donut utilization with thresholds and whatnot. Not that it's not doable, it's just more difficult.
Good to know. Thanks. All right. Next up, we have Katie talking about React 19. Ooh, exciting.
Yep. Hello, everybody. So one of the features coming in the next quarterly release is support for React 19. And what this means is we are updating our main React packages and our extensions to be compatible with React 19, updating them to resolve the breaking changes that React 19 introduces, and adding React 19 as a supported version, which means there's no React 19 only features yet because we're still on React 18 internally, and we are still keeping React 17 support. The next breaking change release will review our supported versions, and that might change. But for now, nothing's changing if you're still on 17 or 18. It's just that if you are on 19 or are looking to go to 19, we will not be a blocker for that. You will be able to do that whenever you want, or when the next release is out. But if you are looking to get it in sooner rather than later, ahead of the quarterly release sometime in July, then there is a set of pre-release versions that are available for testing or use. And if you decide to take any of these pre-release versions, which are listed on the right-hand side of the screen right here, please let us know if you run into any issues or have any other feedback. And yeah, that's pretty much the summary.
Quick and easy. Thank you very much.
Quick and easy, yeah.
If there is anything in React 19 that you're super excited about, come to our office hours and share some cool features that you see in React 19 that you would like to see in PatternFly. That's a good opportunity to kind of do some demos and share some of the work that you're doing, and it can help feed PatternFly and drive our innovation. So just a little plug for meetings, more meetings. All right. Evan and Nicole up next with product adoption. How are we doing?
Hey, doing great. Thank you. Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining today. May the 7th be with you. I wanted to give an update on the PatternFly 6 adoption status. So back before PatternFly 6 was released and we were looking forward to all the exciting features that we've unlocked and are continuing to build on, we shared a roadmap of some of the big milestones that we were targeting to kind of essentially enable PatternFly 6 throughout Red Hat. So some of the big key players that many other products roll up to. So I wanted to step back and reflect on how that's moving forward. We've seen awesome progress here. So just to jump into it, there's kind of 5 big names we're looking at. So Red Hat OpenShift AI did adopt PatternFly 6, I believe, in late January or February. So that one was an awesome win with a strong UXD partnership. You know, we have a lot of focus in that area, and so it's great. Thanks to everyone who may be on this call or who played a part in helping to review that. I know we had some PatternFly platform team members lean in for things like Eric working on accessibility reviews to make sure that everything was good, but great to see that as an early adopter. Looking at managed infrastructure, console.dot, so HCC it has officially merged PatternFly 6 as well. I know Austin was very hands-on with that, so thanks Austin specifically for helping to shepherd that work forward. It was definitely a collaboration with that group, but also exciting to see that there. OCM, so Tatani has been doing awesome work with OCM. They had some competing priorities early in the year, but luckily, through working together with them, we were able to keep that rolling forward while they were working on some other things. And so when they were ready to pivot over, there's actually already a good chunk of work that was in place and could kind of just keep the ball rolling. So the OCM work, I believe, is reaching the finish line. I think they're in final review right now, just to see if there's any last gotchas they want to take a look at. But the code is all in place, so hopefully we'll have an update there shortly. And then OCP is merged, and I think that's scheduled to go live with 4.19, but the PatternFly 6 upgrade work is complete there. So that was another big win, another large collaboration. So thanks everyone who had a hand helping OCP. We had a pretty good working group, I think, going for some time there. And also to Steve, who's on the call here, for kind of having one foot in each side and being able to lean in and lean out for some of the customizations there. And then the last platform here is Ansible Automation. So we partnered with them to kind of get the ball rolling there. Cursum on their side is doing a great job leading the upgrade, and it's cool to see some of the forward-looking work that's being collaborated on around high contrast themes that Lucia spoke towards. So seeing that one roll forward as well. And Garrett, thanks. Anaconda Web UI ported as well. So there's a lot of other projects and products throughout Red Hat. I did want to highlight on the right side here. So I've got 5 or 6 acronyms and product names, which makes it look small, but there's we've had great feedback on PatternFly 6, and that's, I know, one thing that the HCC space is looking to gather more feedback on is both the communication around the process and also just technical workload. What was the overall experience? So we'll continue to lean into that and share that, but just to show okay, 6 check marks doesn't seem like that much, but on the right side, we're doing our best to track issues throughout all of different Red Hat products that relate to the PatternFly 6 upgrade. So some of them may have to do with testing or design review or actual just individual component updates. But you can see from what we've tracked so far, there's over 300 different JIRA tickets that have been closed out towards this, with another 111 as of yesterday in progress to do or planned. So a lot of awesome work across the company, and it's great to see the momentum that PatternFly 6 has. I'll just wrap up by saying that we do have, historically, we've done, always done enablement work to support PatternFly implementation in product. So whether it's officially partnering with the product or like some of the engagements I spoke towards here, kind of leaning in to help with the upgrade. We do have an official PatternFly enablement team now, so we'll continue to evolve this process. One thing we're working on is to better track some of these metrics that we've got here, so stay tuned, hopefully for some more data coming your way. And then also just kind of being able to have those large impacts with product teams and kind of officially plan PatternFly implementations, UXD partnerships, some of that work. So really wanted to take a look back at what's moved so far, and we're excited to see some of these yellows get across the finish line in the near term. But again, if you have questions, need any help, definitely don't hesitate to use this forum, the PatternFly Slack, or just reach out to any of us directly. We'd be happy to partner with you. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you. And we've seen a few more coming to the chat, but other updates like Cockpit and Anaconda. So awesome. Great to see that happening. All right. Wrapping it up. Our fearless leader, Jan Wright, is going to talk about the roadmap.
Last but not least, so hi, PatternFly community. As you probably were noticing that our presentation today was more focused on initiatives. So I wanted to share with you our high-level roadmap for the remainder of 2025. So right now, we are working on foundation and high-impact deliveries, which will include modernizing infrastructure, improving developer experience, enhancing UI consistency. My next slide, I'll talk a little bit more about some of the initiatives we did not touch on today. For Q3, our focus is going to be enhancing UX and governance by improving usability, accessibility, and contribution governance to enable seamless adoption. So in Q3, we're really going to focus on building those partnerships outside of UXD, outside of our Red Hat products, if you will, and look for ways to strengthen our larger PatternFly community. And then in Q4, we will use that last quarter to really focus on measurement and impact. Evan just spoke a little bit to our adoption. We look to have more metrics around the efficiency and usefulness of our PatternFly design system, as well as focusing on continuous improvement. So that'll probably be our time of the year where we're really focused on, I'm going to call it maintenance, making sure that we are investing in the right technologies and looking ahead. We spoke earlier, Sarah spoke to animations, and Eric, that's a newer thing that's part of a lot of design systems, and we're really excited to be delivering that in our PatternFly design system. So then looking at more details for Q2, the stars indicate some of the initiatives that we've already spoken to today. So just speaking to the ones that we did not touch on, we have an initiative in flight to revamp our infrastructure to generate our PatternFly website. And that will help not only that website perform better, but it will make it a lot easier for our team to maintain and add additional content. Code Connect, Figma Code Connect is another initiative that the team is working on. The goal there will be able to translate Figma designs to React code and hopefully improve the developer efficiencies, design developer handoff efficiencies. Define our PatternFly users. We as a team are going to take a deep dive and really think about all of the different users that access our design system and what are their specific needs and what are we doing to continuously improve their experiences. There's an information architecture study for the nav on pf.org that's in flight right now. So there we're hoping to improve again the experience of navigating our website and finding what you're looking for. We already spoke to the measurements and PatternFly adoption. So Evan gave you a nice preview today. So hopefully our next community meeting will have some more metrics to wow you with. And then we have an ongoing audit of the design guidelines in Figma and our component library on the website. This is a follow-up to the rollout of our V6 release. We noticed that we have, some examples and design guidelines that need to be updated. They too, that effort will help contribute to the maintenance and making more awesome our design system that we'll focus on in Q4 this year. So just wanted to give everybody a quick taste of some of the initiatives that we plan to deliver in Q2. If you're interested in learning more, please come talk to us. Please give us feedback, show up at our community meetings or office hours. I'd love to hear from you. And with that, I will pass it back to Andrew.
Thank you very much. Just looking at this screen, like things like Code Connect is a good example where it's a new feature released by Figma. And so it's really important for us to be able to test that with you. So if we'll probably start doing some plugs when we have this up and running, it'd be nice to do both the design and developer experience, talking to some of the users and seeing how useful this tool is. So we can also contribute that feedback back to Figma to enable their design system or their tools to be better. So all this is really important, and it helps us grow, it helps them grow, and hopefully helps you. So everyone wins. All right, that brings us to the very end